Love notes written on the streets in chalk.
No running in the corridors. Tuck your chair in, close your desk. Don't look in another person's tray, please. Those are all things that we heard, in the UK at least, during our primary years. You know, when we were in primary school, thinking we were top of the class when we got to year 6 and stuff like that. But today I want to talk about, reminisce some of the things that happened during that time, you know? For today's video, what I'm going to do is talk about things that I remember from primary school and stuff like that. Starting with the big one, we're going to start with me being a rebel. You know, we're going to start with when I got into a fight during my 6th year, year 6 as it's called here in the UK. So there was a kid. Now I don't want to be horrible, but he did have a bit of a problem when it came to like hygiene. He smelled. Everybody knew he smelled. Now, being in year 6, I had no idea when it came to morals and stuff like that, and everybody used to take the piss out of him because he smelled. Like, fair enough, you stink, you need to have a shower. That being, he was a gypsy, a traveller, for kind of terms, as the UK is not very nice when it comes to this select group of people. Now, I didn't know at the time that these people love to fight. So he pushed me at lunch, and me thinking I was big in my boots, I thought, you know what, I'm gonna take you and I'm gonna break your face. So, long story short, after he pushed me, I went up to him and I pulled him from his chair. I pulled the chair from behind him, and he fell to the floor. He got up and he pushed me, so I turned and I just grabbed him into a headlock. Being in year like 6, my muscles were about this big. Not that they've grown that much more. Not that they've grown that much, but you know, I'm still relatively quite short, so you know, they're big for their size, I guess, but that's not the point. Everything was going fine. I had him, I was dragging him around the floor like that, and then I decided, you know what, I'm gonna make this crazy, I'm gonna punch you in the face, kid. So I've got him here, and I go for him, just boom, down. I've got him in a headlock, I'm not sure if you can see my arm, and just boom, down, straight in his head. And this is where this kid became like a ball. He like started shaking all over the place, like, no, you're not going to do this to me, and he pushes me off. I run at him, like to throw another punch at him, and he moves out of the way, and I come crashing down into the edge of the table. Long story short, I didn't get beaten up by him. I got beaten up by a table. I landed the first few punches, you know, the only punches. Being in year 6, you had everybody else around you and like, yeah, whoa, hit him again, whoa, yeah, this is crazy, fight. But yeah. And then nobody got to go to lunch because of this fight, and being in year 6, thinking I was the top of the thing, but you know, always wanting to be an actor, I burst into tears. I wasn't actually upset or hurt or anything, I just started crying. So yeah, he got suspended that day, and everybody kept in for lunchtime. Go me, woo, yeah, rebel since day 1. And then there was a day. Now, all the stories that I'm gonna tell in this video make me seem like a very, very rebellious teen. Even though I was a prefect during year 6, you know, I was meant to be one of the good kids. I remember one of my brown friends, you know, being in year 6, living in the Chatham area. That is my city or my county or whatever it's called. We were just like, oh yeah, cool. And some kid he's not that bad these days, and I actually get along with him. He decided to insult my friend, my brown friend. He was like, oh yeah, your mum's packy. So me being like, oh dude, I just had this fight a few weeks ago. I'm gonna bust somebody up. I literally ran to him and I pushed him. You know, in the fact that I'm still predicted to get B's and A's, I'm very surprised how this is happening. So I decided to push him, and he starts trying to kick me, and I grab his leg, and being that he's a very fast person, his legs are very strong, I'm very happy that I managed to grab this leg. So now he's trying to, so I just took him, I pushed him into like the bush, and that was like a big thing. You don't push someone into the bush and not get in trouble for it. And then yeah, so I pushed him in the bush, and then like the dinner lady, you know, good old dinner lady, she catches me. She was like, "What was that for?" I was like, "He called my friend this." She was like, "You don't say that word." I'm like, "What? No, I'm sorry. Look, I'm brown myself. Please just don't put me in trouble." And now this kid's walking off swearing his way to like the little naughty bit where you get hurt and stuff like that. They fix you, and like if you're naughty, they send you inside. So he starts swearing in front of the teacher. We're like 10. We're 10 years old, and he's swearing in front of the teachers. And I'm like, "Hey, I'm gonna walk sensibly, and I'm gonna not get in trouble for this." So, long story short, I get off this with no trouble whatsoever, whilst he gets in trouble, like no lunchtime for the next week. Number 2, done. I'm completely the cool kid in this situation, walking away like, "Haha, got you in trouble, bastard." And yeah, it all came back to bite me in the ass during this last part. You know, I was in assembly, and we were all getting ready to leave school, like it was coming to the end of the year, and we're all asking each other, like, me being a prefect, I got to sit on the benches. I was a cool kid, I got to sit on a bench. I had a red cap and I wore a red tie, while everyone else was wearing blue and silver, and I was like, I'm better than all of you kids. And then I get caught by one of the teachers during assembly for talking. You know, being a kid who's meant to set, you know, like a role model state, I get caught for talking, and then I get pulled out of assembly. The only red cap to ever get pulled out of assembly, and I'm standing there, I'm like, shit. I'm in some deep shit with Miss Connolly, who was my teacher at the time. But cool. Okay, so it seems like my camera didn't want to be a part of this rambunctious teenager, not even teenager lifestyle that I was living, and it cut out. So yeah, I'm back onto this, and you know, I'm not too sure where I got to, but I remember being called out of assembly, and I'm speaking, and I'm like, shit, I'm gonna get in trouble. And he knows my name, and I'm like, how do you know my name? I've never spoken to you in my life. And I'm pretty sure this was a Mr. Moran, who would then get fired for doing drugs, by the way. Just putting that out there, he was nobody to shout at me. So, I then get sent back in after him telling me to stop talking, and you know, they've got another kid sitting in my place. I can see that. They moved the red caps along, and they're like, no, you sit on the floor. I'm like, what? I've worked so hard for the last 4 years, and I speak once, despite, you know, having a few scrap fights like outside with a few other children. But you know, I speak once, and this is what happens to me. So you know what? I will sit on the floor. And I got back to class, and Miss Connolly looked at me, and she just shook her head. Yeah, she just shook her head. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all I have for you today. Thanks for listening to my stories, and I hope they were interesting, you know. I really hope they were. But yeah, leave a comment down below with your stories if you had any. Thanks for listening and watching. Goodbye.